Hello, and welcome to Great Sleep. Get ready to listen and relax. Today I'm going to tell you a story that happened on Christmas Eve to a boy named Timothy Cratchit and his family. The bitter wind cut through the bustling streets of Victorian London as the city prepared for the enchantment of Christmas Eve. Shop windows were adorned with twinkling lights and evergreen wreaths, while the sound of carolers echoed through the air. Amongst the crowd, a young boy named Timothy Cratchit navigated his way through the icy sidewalks, his breath visible in the cold air. Timothy, a 10-year-old shoe shiner with a heart of gold, was determined to make the most of this magical time of year. He had a mop of unruly brown hair and kind, hazel eyes that sparkled with hope. Despite his tattered clothes and worn-out shoes, Timothy carried himself with a certain grace and dignity that caught the attention of those around him. As he made his way through the bustling streets, Timothy couldn't help but be mesmerized by the festive decorations adorning every corner. The scent of roasted chestnuts and freshly baked gingerbread filled the air, creating an atmosphere of warmth and joy. It was a stark contrast to the poverty and hardship that surrounded Timothy's humble home. Finally, after navigating through the maze of streets, Timothy arrived at his small, run-down home. The house stood in stark contrast to the grandeur of the city's architecture, with its peeling paint and cracked windows. Inside, the Cratchit family lived in modest surroundings, struggling to make ends meet. Timothy's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Cratchit, were hard-working individuals who did their best to provide for their children. Mr. Cratchit worked long hours as a factory laborer, his hands calloused from years of toil. Despite his exhaustion, he always came home with a smile on his face, grateful for the opportunity to support his family. Mrs. Cratchit, a petite woman with a gentle demeanor, took in sewing jobs to supplement their income. She would sit by the dimly lit window, her needle and thread moving swiftly as she worked on various garments. Her love for her family was evident in every stitch she made. In the corner of the room, Timothy's younger sister, Emily, played with a tattered rag doll. Her bright blue eyes sparkled with innocence and curiosity, despite the hardships that surrounded her. She looked up at Timothy with a wide smile as he entered the room, her face lighting up with joy at the sight of her older brother. That night, as Timothy lay in bed, he couldn't help but dream of a better life for his family. He closed his eyes and envisioned a warm and cozy home, with crackling fires and plenty of food on the table. In his dream, there was a beautifully decorated Christmas tree adorned with twinkling lights and presents wrapped in colorful paper. Determined to make this dream a reality, Timothy resolved to save money for a special Christmas gift for Emily. He knew it wouldn't be easy, as every penny counted in their household. But he was willing to work hard and sacrifice for the happiness of his loved ones. As he drifted off to sleep, Timothy held onto his dream tightly, hoping that it would guide him through the challenges that lay ahead. The next day, Timothy ventured out into the community, his footsteps leaving imprints in the freshly fallen snow. As he walked through the streets, he couldn't help but notice the poverty and struggles faced by his neighbors. Families huddled together in threadbare clothes, shivering in the cold. Their faces were etched with exhaustion and despair. Meanwhile, the wealthy paraded by in their luxurious carriages, seemingly oblivious to the suffering around them. Timothy watched as they passed by, their fur-lined coats and jeweled accessories a stark contrast to the tattered clothing of those less fortunate. It pained Timothy to witness such inequality in the world, but it only fueled his determination to make a difference. He knew that even the smallest act of kindness could bring hope to those who needed it most. Despite the hardships he witnessed, Timothy remained optimistic and compassionate. He continued to shine shoes diligently, always offering a smile and kind words to his customers. He knew that a simple act of kindness could brighten someone's day, even if only for a moment. In addition to his work as a shoe shiner, Timothy found other ways to help those in need. He would assist elderly neighbors in carrying groceries, their frail hands clutching his arm for support. He would run errands for those who couldn't leave their homes, ensuring they had everything they needed. Through his acts of kindness, Timothy became a beacon of hope in the community. People began to look forward to seeing his smiling face and hearing his encouraging words. He brought warmth and compassion to those who had lost hope, reminding them that they were not alone. One day, as Timothy was shining shoes outside a bustling marketplace, a mysterious stranger caught sight of him. The stranger, dressed in an elegant overcoat and top hat, watched from afar as Timothy selflessly helped others. Intrigued by the boy's unwavering optimism, the stranger decided to approach him and offer assistance. Timothy looked up from his work, his hazel eyes meeting the piercing gaze of the stranger. He felt a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, unsure of what this well-dressed individual wanted from him. "Excuse me, young man," the stranger said, his voice smooth and refined. "I couldn't help but notice your acts of kindness. You have a remarkable spirit. May I inquire about your name?" Timothy, slightly taken aback by the stranger's sudden interest, replied, "My name is Timothy, sir. Timothy Cratchit." The stranger smiled warmly, his eyes filled with a sense of mystery. "Timothy, it is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Mr. Thornfield. I've been watching you for quite some time, and I must say, your selflessness is truly inspiring. Timothy's curiosity grew, and he couldn't help but ask, "Why have you been watching me, sir? What is it that you want from me?" Mr. Thornfield chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling with amusement. "I want nothing from you, Timothy. Rather, I want to offer my assistance. You see, I am a wealthy philanthropist, and I have been searching for someone like you, someone who embodies the true spirit of Christmas." Timothy's eyes widened in surprise. He had never imagined that someone like Mr. Thornfield would take an interest in him. "I have seen the hardships you face, Timothy," Mr. Thornfield continued, "and I want to help ease your burden. Please, allow me to offer my assistance to your family." As Timothy continued to save money for Emily's gift, he faced various obstacles along the way. Unexpected expenses arose, such as his mother falling ill and requiring medicine. The cost of medicine was high, and it threatened to derail Timothy's savings plan. Additionally, a sudden increase in the number of shoe shiners in the area reduced Timothy's income. The competition was fierce, and customers became scarce. Timothy had to find creative ways to overcome these challenges and stay on track with his goal. He started waking up earlier each morning, determined to be the first shoe shiner at his usual spot. He polished shoes with even more precision, ensuring that every customer left satisfied with his work. He even offered a small discount to loyal customers, hoping to retain their business. Through perseverance and determination, Timothy managed to overcome these obstacles. He refused to let anything stand in the way of bringing joy to his sister's life. One day, as Timothy was shining shoes outside a grand mansion, he noticed a familiar face approaching him. It was Mr. Thornfield, the mysterious stranger who had offered his assistance. "Timothy, my boy," Mr. Thornfield greeted him warmly. "I have been following your progress closely, and I must say, I am impressed by your resilience and compassion." Timothy smiled gratefully, his hazel eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you, sir. Your encouragement means the world to me." Mr. Thornfield reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. "I want to offer you something more than just encouragement, Timothy. Inside this envelope, you will find enough money to ensure that your family has enough for their basic needs and Emily's gift." Timothy's eyes widened in disbelief as he took the envelope from Mr. Thornfield. He couldn't believe his luck. It was as if all his dreams were coming true. "Sir, I don't know how to thank you," Timothy stammered, his voice filled with emotion. Mr. Thornfield smiled warmly and placed a hand on Timothy's shoulder. "You don't need to thank me, Timothy. You deserve this assistance. You have shown me the true meaning of Christmas, and it is an honor to be able to help you and your family." With the unexpected assistance from Mr. Thornfield, Timothy finally had enough money to buy a special gift for Emily. He carefully counted the coins in his hand, a smile playing on his lips as he realized he had more than enough to make his sister's dreams come true. Timothy ventured into the city's bustling marketplace, his heart pounding with excitement. He weaved through the crowd, searching for the perfect gift that would bring joy to Emily's heart. Finally, he came across a small toy shop tucked away in a corner. The shop was filled with dolls of all shapes and sizes, their painted eyes twinkling with mischief. Timothy's eyes fell upon a beautiful doll dressed in a delicate pink gown. Its porcelain face radiated innocence and grace. He knew immediately that this was the perfect gift for Emily. It was a symbol of love and hope, something that would bring her comfort and joy in the years to come. With trembling hands, Timothy handed over the coins to the shopkeeper, his heart filled with anticipation and joy. He carefully cradled the doll in his arms, imagining the happiness it would bring to his sister's face on Christmas morning. On Christmas morning, the Cratchit family gathered around their small, worn-out Christmas tree. The room was filled with a sense of anticipation and excitement as they exchanged handmade gifts and heartfelt wishes. Timothy couldn't contain his excitement as he watched Emily's eyes light up with joy. He handed her the beautifully wrapped gift, a smile playing on his lips. "For me?" Emily gasped, her voice filled with wonder. Timothy nodded, his heart swelling with love. "Yes, Emily. Merry Christmas." Emily eagerly tore open the wrapping paper, her small hands trembling with excitement. As she revealed the doll, her face lit up with pure delight. She hugged it tightly, tears of happiness streaming down her cheeks. "Oh, Timothy! It's the most beautiful doll I've ever seen," Emily exclaimed, her voice filled with awe. The entire family gathered around, their eyes filled with tears of joy. They marveled at the gift Timothy had chosen, knowing that it represented so much more than just a toy. It was a symbol of love, sacrifice, and the power of dreams. In the aftermath of the gift exchange, the Cratchit family sat together, reflecting on the true meaning of Christmas. They realized that the spirit of giving and compassion was far more valuable than any material possessions. Mr. Cratchit spoke softly, his voice filled with gratitude. "We may not have much, but we have each other. And that is the greatest gift of all." Mrs. Cratchit nodded, her eyes filled with tears. We are rich in love and kindness. That is what truly matters. Timothy looked around at his family, his heart filled with warmth and gratitude. I couldn't agree more. This Christmas has taught me that it's not about what we have, but how we treat others. The love we share is what makes us truly wealthy. They embraced each other tightly, their hearts overflowing with love and appreciation. In that moment, they knew that the true meaning of Christmas went beyond material possessions. It was about empathy, kindness, and the power of love. As the days passed, the story of Timothy's acts of kindness spread throughout the community. Inspired by his selflessness and the resilience of the Cratchit family, neighbors began to come together to support one another. The once divided neighborhood found unity in their shared struggles and the power of love. Families who had once turned a blind eye to their neighbors' suffering now offered a helping hand. Those who had been fortunate enough to have more shared their resources with those in need. The streets of Victorian London became a place of compassion and understanding. The wealthy began to recognize their privilege and use it to uplift those less fortunate. The poor found strength in the knowledge that they were not alone, that there were others who cared and wanted to make a difference. As snow fell gently on the streets, the scene was set for a Christmas miracle that would forever be remembered in the hearts of those who experienced it. The Cratchit family, with their unwavering love and resilience, had ignited a spark of hope that would continue to burn bright, long after the snow had melted and the holiday season had passed.